You saw the Knicks, a pretty young team with a decent amount of depth, and Minnesota Timberwolves, again, another team with a young group, a young nucleus led by Anthony Davis. I think we're seeing the league trend towards younger teams, deeper teams, being able to hold up in the physicality and the intensity and the pure athleticism you need to succeed in the league right now. So we'll see about teams like the Warriors and the Clippers and the Lakers that are more built around veteran players, older teams. But I think we're seeing a bit of a sea change, and I think the Thunder finally are positioned to be the team to end this era of parity we've been in and create the next dynasty in the league.
So I could have sat here last July and said a very similar thing about the Celtics. I think I probably did in July. And then the year before that, I think we said the same thing about the Nuggets, who had won a championship and had this young core that seemed like they had just hit their prime at the right time. And we just keep having new champions. Like each year, we think somebody is destined to go be the next dynasty. There is another, they seem built for success in the long term. And each year, it doesn't happen. And so as much as I agree with you, Tim, that the Thunder are extremely well positioned, they finally broke through, it seems like they could win for the next 5 years, all evidence in the NBA for the last 6-7 years has been that somebody else is going to win. And when you go, now it's 27-year-olds winning, and this year it was obviously 25-year-olds winning. Well, what if it swings back and it's the old teams winning? What if it's just the healthiest team winning? And so I'll never count LeBron and Steph out because those guys still are playing at all NBA levels. And I think, look, if you say who's better positioned this year, probably the Warriors because they have clarity. They're not trying to save for Luka Doncic's next 5 years. They're just in it for the next 2 years with Steph.
Yeah, David, we'll give you the last word on this one.
I was talking about I was talking about LeBron and Steph maybe the next couple. I think I'm with Tim on this year, though. This year is OKC's year. I think that the only way that an old team wins is if OKC adds like a guy who's 155 years old to that bench to raise sort of the average of their team. Because this team is built sort of differently. Right, I did that in my head. I had a calculator. Yeah. I think it's a little different than the Nuggets and the Celtics in the fact that there was so little margin of error. You look at the Nuggets, they lose a guy like Brown. You lose some of those people. The Celtics, you deal with the injury or two, and that knocks them off. The Thunder are just built with these waves of guys and this depth and this youth that they can overcome this in a different way. This is the last dynasty. This is the final dynasty in the NBA, and it's a lot of that because of resilience, because of the fact that they have the depth. They had J-Dub was injured all through the playoffs, and they still won the championship. I just think it's hard to imagine anybody usurping OKC this year, but I'm not counting LeBron to step out maybe in the future if something else goes haywire.
Well, we got to continue to talk Western Conference after the break. We recap. Tim Bonchitz in the building. Starting with new Knicks coach Mike Brown on how New York is going to look a little different this year.
I like to play fast. And so we're going to try to play fast and make sure that the floor is spaced the right way. And then defensively, we want to have a sense of physicality without fouling. We want people to feel us, and we want the fans to know that we're going to give multiple efforts on that end of the floor.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do there. The Knicks ranked in the bottom 5 in pace last season. Tim, is speeding things up key to their success?
I have great respect for Mike Brown. I think he's got a chance to do a very nice job with the Knickerbockers. However, every single coach that gets into a new job says they're going to play faster. Now, Mike Brown did that with the Sacramento Kings. He had a lot of success. The biggest thing the Kings did was move the ball and have pace and space with the Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis running pick and rolls. Can Mike Brown have Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns do that? That remains to be seen.
Next up, Jaylen Brown, who was back in the lab in Spain after his off-season knee surgery. Ramona, how will he fare as the 1A in Boston this season without Jason Tatum, of course, out with injury?
You know, I think Jaylen Brown relishes moments like this. He tried to play through that injury all throughout the playoffs, and I think he'll relish being the 1A here. But there is a good update on Jason Tatum. He's walking again. He's out of the boot. He's walking again. Said he's been doing 6 days a week in rehab, and I think he's ahead of schedule and coming back from that Achilles.
That facility in the Mediterranean that the NBPA has as a sanctuary is a pretty incredible spot.
Yeah, not bad. In Philly, Jared McCain is also making his return from knee surgery. David, if healthy, are you ready to believe in the Sixers as a top 6 team in that conference?
Yes, if healthy, but also, yes, that's like if I could fly or if somebody grew wings or something like that. Health is just like in the metaphysical right now. There was like a moment where I I started to believe in the 76ers, and then 5 minutes later, I realized that should not be the case, because I opened up and saw that Paul George is already hurt to start the season.
Ooh, all right, last stop Chicago, where Josh Giddey is still a restricted free agent despite averaging 21, 10, and 9 over his final 20 games of the year. Tim, are we going to see a deal get done?
This is going to be really interesting to see, Vanessa. We have 3 restricted free agents sitting out there that are in this similar spot. Josh Giddey in Chicago, Quentin Grimes in Philadelphia, Jonathan Kuminga with the Warriors. All 3 of them have interesting negotiations because there is not cap space out there in the market, and their current teams have a lot of leverage to keep them.
NBA history. First, top full court threads in 2008. Jason Kidd finds Brandon Bass.
That was a slick little pass.
Oh my God!
On the fast break with the crazy
top spin on that.
It's also a heck of a drawback out of the files going back to 2008.
To 2009. We go to the answer. Allen Iverson throwing a full court bounce pass.
Yes,
Oh my God! To Rip Hamilton.
I would not have guessed we'd get an AI highlight.
Listen, it's July, baby.
Westbrook.
In 2017, Russell Westbrook throws the bounce pass between the Raptors defenders. Legs to Victor
Pretty
Oladipo
good.
layup. Yeah, love that.
Totally on purpose. Did it on purpose, for sure.
All right, next top look. No eyes. In 2014, Manu Ginobili with the no-look pass over his head to Danny
See more
Green.
Ginobili highlights on this
You
show.
guys more creative than that guy. This guy's one of them, though.
Yep.
Oh, no. Yeah, this guy is one of them.
2022, not that long ago. Luka
No.
with the no-look needle pass to Christian Wood.
Tim McMahon's favorite player, Christian Wood.
And in 2025, Nikola Jokic throws a no-look pass to Aaron
That
Gordon.
is my favorite pass of all
Is it?
time.
Of all time? You've heard a lot
I
about
know, but it's just ridiculous. It's just completely ridiculous.
I go back to Magic Johnson days, so that's really good though.
Magic was really good.
Lastly, top special delivery in 2008. Kobe Bryant throws the wraparound pass to Ronnie Turiaf. And Tim, you and I were laughing before the show. When's
Good
the last
job,
time you
Ronnie,
heard
being
that?
ready for that.
Brandon Bass and Ronnie Turiaf in the same highlight is incredible work by the producer.
I was in junior high school. Hey, how about 2017?
Polish Hammer.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's the crossover. There you go.
That
Or
was-
it's hot.
John Wall and Marcin Gortat had a lot of screen and rolls in their time in Washington. A lot of success.
All right, that'll do it for us on ESPN. If you want more NBA today, you're going to have to flip it over to ESPN 2. We will be there. Otherwise, we're going to get you out to the Little League World Series in Waco, Texas. All right, so guys, since I am here, we have to do a little bit of a Homer segment. Why don't we?
Yeah.
That's my first game winning. I feel like Kobe.
How are you all in?
What's that smell?
Career high in rebounds. Congrats.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Say hi to mom and dad. Why are you able to?
We could beat anybody. We know that on any given night. We just gotta play our game, play Rockets basketball. We got a shot every night. We lace them up.
A lot of clips in there, guys. We're not Rockets anymore.
Since I'm serving as guest host, you already know we have to talk about those Houston Rockets. So just to recap, the Rockets finished the regular season as the 2nd seed. They lost in the first round of the Warriors in what we will call a spirited 7-game series. That was Houston's first playoff appearance, by the way, since 1920. And they've been really busy this offseason, the front office for sure, trading for 2-time champ and former MVP Kevin Durant for the 10th pick, Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green. The Rockets also signed Fred VanVleet, Jabari Smith Jr., and Steve-O to new deals. And it certainly looks like a much improved roster. And if this summer suggests anything, they should have great chemistry as well. Look at that. Fred VanVleet was seen doing a boxing workout
Okay.
with head coach Ime Udoka. And Fred also went to Turkey to work out and spend quality time with the birthday boy, Alfred Şengün. After all those moves, guys, the Rockets have plus 525 odds to win the West, behind only the Thunder and the Nuggets. Amin Thompson put the league on notice this past season. I chatted with him at Summer League and asked about his new teammate. You know his name.
One of the greatest players ever. One of the best scorers ever. It's gonna make my life a lot easier. You know what I mean?
What do you think you can learn from Kevin just by observing him?
I just hear his work ethic is different. You know, I feel like I have a different work ethic too. So just like combining that, I think it's gonna be fun.
Okay, so as excited as I am to be able to cover Kevin Durant, I'm really excited about the Rockets and the fact that they were able to keep the majority of their young core, Şengün, Jabari, Amin, Tari, Tim. What immediate impact does KD have on this roster?
Well, look, essentially, the Houston Rockets turned Jalen Green into Kevin Durant, right? That is an unbelievable upgrade for the Rockets. A big part of why Houston lost in the first round of the playoffs was Jalen Green simply wasn't good enough as a scorer. He shot under 30% from three, under 40% from the field. Kevin Durant, while he is not the player he was in the past, is still a guy that is a 50, 40, 90 guy that's an easy 25 on any given night and completely slots in perfectly in the role as this team's primary scorer. It's going to make life easier for Alpi Şengün. It's going to make life easier, as Amen said in that clip, for Amen Thompson. Guys like Jabari Smith and Amen Thompson and Tari Eason can easily fill in the minutes that Dylan Brooks is vacated by being part of that trade. So I think this Rockets team is awfully good. They're awfully deep. There's a reason why there wasn't a huge market for Kevin Durant this summer. He's going to cost a lot of money in an extension. He's an older player. And also, the fit in a lot of these situations wasn't necessarily clean. But for Kevin Durant with the Rockets, there is not a better fit in the league than him landing there. I thought it was the one team that always made sense. It's why the Rockets got him, as you laid out, for a pretty fair price from their standpoint. And it's why they're set up very nicely with having him now on their roster.
Ramona, you and I have talked about this. There's not a better coaching staff fit for Kevin Durant. He respects Ime Udoka so much. Ime coached him with Team USA in Brooklyn. He's really good friends with Rockets assistant coach Royale Ivey from those Longhorn ties. How do you see that benefiting the Rockets?
Oh, look, I mean, we've talked a lot about Kevin Durant over the past, his entire career, but he wants to play basketball, and he wants to just worry about that. He needs the coach to be the coach and be the leader in that locker room and hold guys accountable. And that is what he's going to get with Ime Udoka. Kevin Durant's not going to have to be the loudest voice in the room. He's not going to have to make sure somebody's coming to practice or getting there on time. That's Ime's job.
Yep.
And I think he really appreciates that. And every place he's ever been, that's what he's asked out of a coach. And I think this is probably the best fit he's ever had. I mean, I know they did Oklahoma City. Those were some good fits. The Warriors, I think that sort of ran its course. Obviously, it wasn't a fit in Brooklyn with Steve Nash.